My name is Dustin Browder. I'm the game director on Starcraft II.
Sir, Dominion ships warping in.
Sweet mother of mercy.
About time we kick this revolution into overdrive.
Feels like old times.
Fear and present threat to this Dominion.
Well, you know, the team, I think, is very optimistic and hopeful that StarCraft II will be well received by the fans. At the same time, I think we're a little scared and nervous. You know, at this point, we've done everything we could think to do to try to make the game as good as it could possibly be. But at this point, there's not very many decisions we can still make. All the decisions now are in the hands of the players. You know, will they embrace it as an esport? You know, will they love the single-player campaign? You know, will they want to play online? Will they like the challenges? Do those challenges help make them better players? There's all kinds of features we put in the game, and we're just going to have to wait and see now, you know, which ones work and how well they work, and hopefully everything will go well. But we're very excited to get it out there. For the StarCraft II solo campaign, we thought we had a real opportunity to try to innovate a little bit in real-time strategy games. You know we wanted to still tell a very strong character-based story, you know, an epic storyline involving these sort of characters we've known and loved for many years in the StarCraft universe, but at the same time, really allow players a lot more choice than we have in the past. You know, our previous campaigns have hopefully been a lot of fun, but they've really just sort of been on a rail. You're going to play the next mission that we give you, thank you very much, right? And there's not a lot of options for the player to really make decisions about how he wants to play through the game or what he wants to have happen to some of these characters. So we tried to create a solo play campaign that really gives players choices about which missions they want to do next. Maybe what happens to some of the characters they meet along the way, or they live, or whether they die. You know, what kind of technologies they want to take in battle, what kinds of research they want to do, what kinds of mercenaries they want to hire, and really give players a deeper view into the lore, the fiction, and the characters of the StarCraft universe. So it's really a chance for us to do maybe a little bit more than we've ever done before, and it's a chance for, I think, a lot of the guys who worked on the original StarCraft to sort of realize their dream of what the original StarCraft could have been, but you know, the technology wasn't there yet, they didn't have the time or the team, and this is really sort of the culmination of a lot of the original vision for StarCraft in StarCraft II. For us, there was always going to be 3 games. That was never going to be a question. We were always going to have an original game and 2 expansion packs when we made StarCraft II. And as we were developing the game, we discovered that in order to have all of this choice, we needed to make a lot of missions. A lot of missions. Otherwise, there's no choice about what you want to do or what you don't want to do, right? Or which missions you maybe will affect the fate of a particular character. We needed to build those missions. And so we got to a point in development where we realized we could either take another 5 years to make this game, or we could break it into 3 separate campaigns, one for the Terran, one for the Zerg, and one for the Protoss. And we thought we really need to get this game into the hands of the consumers sooner than another 5 years. And this will allow us to have that sort of epic scope that we always wanted and still tell a great story and still give the player lots and lots of choice. We have not decided on pricing for the next game yet. I'll be clear, though, sort of what our goals are, right? So at Blizzard, we like to price our products according to the value that they give the consumer, right? If we feel like the game provides a lot of entertainment value, we'll charge more. If we feel like it doesn't provide that much entertainment value, we'll charge less. So our plans for these next 2 games are more expansion pack style game design and gameplay. There will be, you know, a bunch of missions, a full campaign. We'll make some changes to the multiplayer experience, but we haven't priced them finally yet. But we will definitely be pricing them behind that kind of philosophy. You know, if it doesn't provide the value of a full product, then we won't charge that much. If it provides that much value, then that's what we'll charge. But we'll have to wait and see, depending on how much work we get done, you know what kind of value we're providing to the fans, and that will determine the price. We don't know for sure yet. Obviously, we don't want to take 5 or 6 years for these next 2 chapters. We want to get these chapters, you know, into the consumer's hands as quickly as possible. You know, maybe a couple years, maybe less. That's a ballpark number, but 2 years or less is certainly our hope to bring out the next chapter, and then that same kind of time frame for the 3rd chapter as well. We don't know for sure what the multiplayer expansion pack will bring, what the expansion pack will bring to multiplayer. We do know that we want to keep the unit count consistent with what we have now. We know that Starcraft II is not a game that plays well when you get much over 14 or 15 units per race. You get 16 or 17 units per race. Some of the units start to duplicate functionality either on the same side or on different sides. Pretty soon, I've got a Protoss siege tank, and I might as well be playing Terrans, right? Our goal for these races remains the same, to make them play as different from one another as we possibly can and still make them all balanced. So we don't know yet what our plans are for multiplayer and how to handle it. It's presenting a pretty scary problem. We can't just add units right on top of. So we need to figure out some way to sort of add new units to the game without fundamentally making it more complicated. And I don't know what that answer is yet at this point. That's a problem we'll be tackling in the coming weeks and months as we really start serious development on Heart of the Swarm. I'm sure at some point down the road we'll be doing all types of packages for this with all three campaigns. The one thing I do want to stress to our users, this is not a campaign the way you're used to playing it. You're used to playing 10 to 12 missions. They're linear. It's a single experience. You play through it very quickly and you're done. This is a 29 mission campaign in the Terran universe. And we have a mini arc where you play as Zeratul and as the Protoss, where you're sort of reliving some of Zeratul's memories as you play through the game. So this is a really full product that should give you a very comparable value that you got from the original StarCraft and you got from Brood War. And the follow-on campaigns will have a similar size, where you have this huge, huge experience with lots and lots of choice as a player. Rob Pardo is the vice president of game design at our studio, and he's been through many, many balance cycles on many of our products. He was on Brood War. He helped, and did a lot of the core balance on Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne. And he said to me the other day, you won't know if it's balanced for another year, because that's the test of balance. Does it endure? Or does it break very quickly? So I would say to the fans who say we're not balanced, we don't know for sure yet. I'm willing to concede that may very well be true. But we don't know for sure yet how balanced or unbalanced we are. But we will continue to make balance patches as often as necessary to balance the game. Certainly in the beta, we were very excited to see that all of our races, accounting for skill level, were within 5% win-loss ratio, which was incredible. Like, we didn't think we'd get anywhere that close in beta, but we did, which is great, and was a testament to our fans with all of the help they gave us in the early parts of the beta that we got to that stage by the end of the beta. So I would not say that this game is perfectly balanced. That would be foolish of me to even believe, right? And we're definitely willing to continue balancing, but we think we're in a pretty good space. We think, considering all of the great feedback we got from the fans in beta in terms of making it better, but also their positive comments, we've definitely made a lot of great strides forward to making a very balanced game. We're seeing a lot of great plays in some of the tournaments that were played in beta. We're seeing all three races played in these tournaments. It's not just one race, which totally could have been what happened. And that's what we were afraid of, and it hasn't happened. We're seeing at the top of the ladder and all throughout the ladder, all three races are getting a lot of play, but there's definitely potentially some balance concerns, and we're going to be looking at those in the first few weeks once the game launches, and we're certainly going to make a balance patch probably within the first month or a little bit more as we see developments to make sure that the game is playing the way we want it to play.
Because the one thing I know, some things are just worth fighting for.